That's how good it is.
I think just walked up there.
So, a U.S. Navy SEAL walks into a bar and asks the bartender, "Give me a Osama bin Laden." The bartender looks at him and asks, "What's in that?" And he says back to him, "2 shots and a splash."
Very good.
That's a good one.
Very good.
So my name is Dwight Gimenez, and first I want to express how honored I am to be here. The Rotary Club of West Covina's history of commitment to service above self speaks for itself. My actions as a member thus far, I believe, convey one truth. I am eager to do my part. I was born to 2 Argentine immigrants who came to the United States to provide a better life for our family. As a single man currently, I still have not found that special one. But when I do, the values of working hard, being honest, and of helping others will be instilled in my children, as they were in my sister Jennifer and I. When I am not working, the 2 places you are bound to find me are running at the gym or at church. I have attended the same church all my life, and I consider the church my family. I grew up here in West Covina and attended the West Covina Unified School District schools all the way through high school. When we were children, my sister was discovered by a photographer and started traveling the world as an instant supermodel. I was left with a strong will to succeed at something, so I excelled in my studies. My sister would continue to model and then have a successful career as an actress. I continued to hit the books hard and attended the University of Southern California. I graduated with a bachelor's degree in economics. I had a small break in my college career in order to become an actor's and then executive producer's assistant. It was through my sister's Hollywood connections that the opportunity came up to work in a big budget production as an assistant. The job included getting coffee, grabbing dry cleaning, and hanging out on the set most of the time. It was so much fun that I did it for 2 years while finishing my degree. I graduated from USC in 2001, and my intention was to embark on a financial career. However, due to the events of 9/11, the economy was suffering a downturn. And because of a patriotic sense of duty, along with really wanting to groom myself for the business world, I decided the military would offer an invaluable experience. I joined the United States Naval Nuclear Propulsion Program. It was touted to be the most challenging of any of the communities of the military. It proved to be a challenge. It was in the nuclear power program that I determined I could do anything. The training pipeline consisted of schools in South Carolina and a prototype phase in New York. It was during these 2 years where the Navy taught me how to operate and maintain a nuclear reactor and its systems. I was thrust into worlds I was unfamiliar with, the military and its demands, as well as the nuclear world, where my ability to retain and regurgitate information meant my survival. There was a large number of us that did not make it through that process. The ones who persevered the rigorous training had the fleet, or sea duty, to contend with next. I met the USS Carl Vinson in Washington, the ship that would be my home for the next 4 years. I made it on board just months before it deployed for the Persian Gulf. It was on this deployment that I circumnavigated the globe. We stopped off in places like Guam, Singapore, Dubai and Bahrain a few times each, Greece and Portugal. We stayed in the Gulf for a total of 4 months. While we floated in above 100-degree heat, I worked in the propulsion plants, operating and maintaining the reactors that powered an aircraft carrier at war. We would spend so many countless hours in the reactor and main machinery rooms that weeks would go by without seeing sunlight. It was an amazing journey around the world, in which, thankfully, I arrived back to the States in one piece. The ship made its way to Virginia, where it would undergo a complete overhaul of its reactor compartment. It was essentially a refueling, which is required about once every 12 years with nuclear-powered vessels. The refueling proved to be as challenging as operating the reactor. We became experts in the shutdown condition of a nuclear reactor. The name is deceiving, however, as it requires as much, if not more attention as operating a reactor. I finished out my career with the Navy in Virginia, and it was in 2008 that I made it back to where I've decided is the best place on earth, sunny Southern California. Before exiting the Navy, I secured a job with Edward Jones Investments. Edward Jones at the time was ranked the second best place to work by Fortune. I became a licensed broker with my Series 7, Series 66, and California Life and Health certifications. I'm glad I had the military training because I started in the financial industry during the worst economic downturn this generation has seen. It was brutal. Thankfully, Edward Jones gave me the support and resources to make it through that tough time. The lessons I learned during this rough start gave me the confidence and know-how to help people in the most important areas of their lives during one of the most uncertain periods of their lives. I have always had a passion for investing. I actually started investing around 18 years old. I was a long-term investor even then. When I started investing, it was through dividend reinvestment plans. I found this interesting once I joined such a conservative investment firm. It has been a perfect fit ever since. My office is located in a small suburb of Hollywood, Hancock Park. It is on a small street next to Paramount Studios on Larchmont Boulevard. My practice has a majority of its clients in Los Angeles. However, I have made a successful effort to build a base closer to home in West Covina. Edward Jones allows me full discretion in how I build my business. I love the business model, which has remained the same throughout the history of the firm. Edward Jones was established by Edward D. Jones in 1922. Our first office was located in a modest building in downtown St. Louis, similar to the office that I have in downtown Los Angeles. The office consisted of a single room furnished with a desk, 3 chairs, and a hat rack. It was Edward Jones' son, Ted Jones, who would revolutionize the industry. Ted Jones saw that people in smaller communities needed to prepare for their financial futures just like other individuals. He believed these individuals deserved access to a reliable local broker who would understand and address their individual needs. Before long, there were Edward Jones branch offices consisting of 1 broker and 1 assistant in towns across America. Edward Jones has more branch offices than any other brokerage firm in the country. Edward Jones has been so successful because of its commitment to both associates and our clients. In July 2010, we received the highest score among full-service brokerage firms in the J.D. Power & Associates Full-Service Investor Satisfaction Study. Although the financial industry is constantly changing, Edward Jones's principles retain the same focus. First, the firm serves just one client, the serious long-term individual investor. Second, the firm's investment philosophy emphasizes quality and a well-balanced portfolio. Lastly, we believe personal relationships are key. Thus, Edward Jones appeals to a careful and considering kind of investor who prefers a long-term relationship with his or her financial advisors. All of these factors has earned Edward Jones its reputation as a great place to work and a great place to do business. One of the biggest advantages we have is that we are employee-owned. This structure is one that generates a feeling of responsibility to do my best and take pride in my work. The kind of solutions that I provide help individuals pursue their serious long-term financial objectives, including saving for retirement, living comfortably in retirement, funding a child's education, and support other family members, and having appropriate insurance to protect one's financial goals. The most important factor in what I do is maintaining a close relationship with my clients, with whom Edward Jones would not exist. My passion for investing, coupled with my desire to help people, has made this my dream job. I could have never imagined such an opportunity as the one I have with Edward Jones. It is through helping people reach their goals and dreams that I can realize mine. At this time, I would like to open the floor up for questions, but before I do, I would like to invite you all to an open house that I have scheduled this Wednesday, July the 8th. It's actually for client appreciation. However, I figured it would be appropriate to invite my Rotary family. So if you guys were able to make it, I would certainly love to have you. Again, it's Wednesday, July the 8th, and it's going to be scheduled between 12 and 7. So as I said, I really am looking forward to hearing any questions that you all might have.
Thank you.
What schools did you go to in West Covina?
Excellent question. I started off going to preschool at Cameron Park, then started elementary school at Vine. There was a switch up in the school districts between my 5th and 6th grade year, so I ended up going to Merced, and ended up heading off to Edgewood, and then finally ending at West Covina High School.
Very good.
Which church do you belong to?
Great question. The church, as I kind of mentioned in the beginning, is really important because I've actually been a member of this church for over 20 years now. It's the Covina Assembly of God, located over on Second and San
Second?
Bernardino.
Right up the street from me.
Right.
Very good. What do you do for hobbies?
You know, I just had briefly mentioned that when I'm not working, you really are going to find me two places, either at the gym or at some sort of church function. I have a small group that I belong to that I'm very committed to with my church. But my one escape is running. I like to put on the iPod, get on the treadmill, and it gives me a good 30 minutes of not having to speak to anybody, not having to listen to anybody. It's a great time for me.
Well, you know we have a member of the club that has already done a half marathon. Maybe you could keep up with him?
You know, I'd actually mentioned to Lina that I would be interested in setting up a Rotary Run Club. It might be an opportunity for us to get more word out on the street about the Rotary Club, and it would give the Rotary members an opportunity to do something physical and healthy. And run clubs don't necessarily have to be strictly running. They could incorporate walking as well. I belong to a run club out by where I work, and half of the people that belong to the run club actually walk while everyone else runs.
Why did you join the Navy?
When?
Why?
Why?
Why the Navy?
Yeah. Why the Navy was I was honestly I was sold. I was sold. They sold me on this new power program, and they really did explain it as being the toughest thing aside from being a SEAL, the toughest thing that you could possibly do. And they said it was for only a certain degree would even attempt it, and then only a certain number of those would be able to pass through it. So it just seemed like the most challenging thing I could do at the time, and considering the fact that I really wanted to use it as a stepping stone for something that I would do in business, I thought doing something as challenging as nuclear engineering would be exactly what I needed.
With your knowledge